Christian Men's Illustrated, the podcast, is Jeremiah Johnson alongside Greg Walden.
What's up?
Hello, all of you Christian men, women, whoever may be listening. Please like, share, and subscribe to our podcast. Well, it has been several days of mourning now since one Chuck Norris celebration, mourning and celebration, because our understanding is that he was a Christian.
Yeah.
He knew Jesus.
Yes, he knew Jesus.
Which means we're going to hang out with Chuck Norris for all of eternity one day, Christian men. How about that? That's going to be epic. So,
yeah, I'm sure he's probably roundhousing some few people up there when he's,
Kelly Stevens, Chuck Norris hanging out.
Oh man, that's the dynamic duo right there. Luckily Shepins and Chuck Norris.
He's not even gonna, want to hang out with us when we see him. He's like, "Hey, sorry guys, I'm with Chuck now." So
I'm upgraded now.
Yep. So anyway, with that in mind, I put together my list. I started letting the brain work, and I presented this to my congregation on Sunday night. I kind of let the hair down a little bit on Sunday night. I relax, have a little bit of fun. People think I'm a total dork on Sunday nights tonight because I presented my top 5 action hero list of all time to the church on Sunday morning.
Oh, nice.
My wife was clearly very interested and completely dialed in. No, she wasn't. She could care less. She's like, "Oh my goodness, this is why
I don't know this man."
Yeah. My wife questions my Christianity at times. So we'll dive right into it. Why don't you guys let us know in the comments below what your top 5 action heroes of all time. I think I might offend, surprise, but these are mine. Okay, you can have yours.
Yep.
These are mine. And actually, I have some runners up and some things like that. So I did go back and watch. I will say this first before we get in top 5. I did go back and watch the specific Bruce Lee Chuck Norris fight scene.
Yeah.
Where he yanks out the chest hair.
Yeah.
And it was pretty awesome. Obviously Bruce Lee was way ahead of his time when he was recording those fight movies and stuff like that. They don't age quite as well, because of all the effects now and stuff like that. It's still good, but it wasn't this like multiple.
But look,
action camera
now
scenes.
If you look in that movie, because I was watching a YouTube video, in that movie where Bruce Lee's actually warming up before he fights Chuck Norris, he does this 3-thing combo.
Okay,
I think he did that in like 5 or 0.6 seconds. The whole 3-move combo was done in less than a second.
It's great though. Yeah. There's no beefs. It was an awesome fight scene and stuff like that. So I just love the yanking out of the chest hair.
But you don't know what happened after the movie, right?
No. What happened?
So Bruce Lee actually took the chest hair that he tore off, and he went home and stripped the asphalt off his driveway with it.
Oh, okay. So here we go. Top 5. Let's start with number 5 on your list. We're going from 5 to number 1.
Okay.
On mine, I'm going number 5. I am going to go Chuck Norris. That might offend some people.
Oh,
maybe Chuck. I'm going number 5. Number 5 on my list. And my 2 favorite Chuck Norris movies, after processing this, looking at his filmography, was Expendables 2. And then, what was the other one? Oh, my goodness, I forgot it. Delta Force.
Oh, okay.
That's where I'm going. So what say you on your number 5?
My number 5 was Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis. Okay, Now, Bruce Willis did not make my list, but definitely don't have any bones about someone putting Bruce Willis on your list because he's definitely up there. My list was really based on impressions and as where I'm at age wise, etc. So a runner up for me that didn't make my list. Now I knew this would be people would make fun of me, so I definitely thought about it, but didn't make the list. Will Smith, because he's been in a lot of action.
But I think he's more 90s.
Yeah, well, I'm a 90s guy. That's what I'm saying. I'm 90s. I'm between the two.
Yeah.
I'm late 80s, 90s guy.
Yeah, I'm more 80s because that's when I grew up.
Okay, yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Yeah. He is underrated. I'd say he's a little bit underrated. I don't think he quite deserves to be on the all-time top 5 for me, but I did consider it for just a moment. Okay, number 4. Here we go. Number 4 for me, this is my most controversial one right here, okay? For me is Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, I'm putting him number 4.
Well, I think he deserves to be in the top 5.
Okay. And so The Matrix, which is newer, that's not 80s, that's in the 2000s ish and stuff like that. Then most recently, he would probably be the most recently action hero fighter guy in John Wick. Now I didn't watch all John Wicks, but they're very action packed and a little bit violent there. But Keanu Reeves, I'm putting him number 4. That's my Cinderella dark horse that I put on my list there.
So my number 4 was also Cinderella, and it's probably
I thought about and I looked through his stuff. I'm like, he's definitely worthy, but I was never Indiana Jones guy.
Well,
I mean, I like him as Han Solo.
Right.
Probably would be my
But you
favorite
had you had
action
you had Air Force One, you had Patriot Games,
Good
and some
point.
other action movies that he was the main star in.
Definitely worthy, and I wouldn't even argue if you put him on the Mount Rushmore. He's not in my top 5, but if you said, well, I'm going to put him on my Mount Rushmore, I wouldn't have any beef with you doing that. So there we go. Keanu Reeves, Harrison Ford. Number 3 for me is now we get into, I would say, the classics, which are almost like, to me, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair type names that you can't leave off. So number 3 for me is Sylvester Stallone. So
Nice.
I think you got to put him in there. Rocky,
Rambo.
Yeah, just a lot of action hero movies that he's known for, and he's done some current ones as well. So I'm going Sylvester Stallone, and to me, he's that prototypical. He just looks like a man. He's just got the manly look and the voice and the accent and all those kind of things. So I'm going Sylvester Stallone on number. Did I say number 3?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. Who's your number 3?
He was
Sylvester
also my number 3, Sylvester Stallone.
Okay, there we go. We're on the same page.
Yeah.
Number 2, making it on our way to number 1, is we have, for me, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm going Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, yeah.
Number 2 all time. Arnold, he's going back now, but what would you say? I mean, he's got all kinds of stuff. He's just a manly,
goodness.
buff
Conan the
Terminator,
Barbarian. Yeah.
Conan the Barbarian, which led to He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, etc. Terminator. I think Terminator has got to be up there as like one of the top action.
Yeah, he was the action star of the 80s for most people's list. We asked the question in the 80s, he would probably be number 1 on pretty much most people's list.
The first Terminator was 1984. I didn't realize it was that old. Okay, I didn't realize that. Now I'm feeling old on some of these. Commando.
Yeah.
Terminator 2 was 1991. So there was, I didn't realize. So there's a little bit of a gap there.
Think about it. He's probably got also, Arnold Schwarzenegger probably has the most quoted line in all of movie history. I'll be back.
That's true. Definitely. Yeah. I think, and he deserves like a Mount Rushmore type. If there's a Mount Rushmore, he's got to be on there for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So number 1. Now this one.
Well, I didn't get number 2.
Oh, sorry. You didn't do number 2.
He was also my number 2 as well.
Number 2. So see, we're on the same page there.
Yeah.
So yes, Sylvester Stallone, Arnold on the same page. I think my number 1 will be a little bit of surprise. It's a little bit personal, and this goes on. So I think if you're Chuck Norris, you love Chuck Norris because the beard, the hair, and if you look, he's looked the same his whole life.
Well, he did. When he started out, he didn't have a beard.
He didn't have the beard, but he's always looked 50.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's been stuck in he's not like an aged dude, a man, it's like he's always looked 40 to 50.
Well, they say
and not a bad 40 to 50, like an awesome aged.
Well, they say the Earth
good-looking man.
they say the Earth rotates around the sun. Everything else rotates around Chuck Norris.
True. Yeah. My number 1, which I think is a little bit of surprise for some people, but to me, this is the guy I wanted to be like, for sure. This is the action hero that, like, if I could be any action hero of all time, hands down, without a doubt, no question, I'm picking this guy. Number 1, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
No, man, sorry.
Love Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I'm not a Jean-Claude. I'm sorry. I'm not a Jean-Claude.
He's not as hairy. Bloodsport. That's like the best. So I'm going number 1 of all time. See that movie, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
My number 1, obviously, I'm biased. I'm Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
In fact, to be honest with you, that was my second top 5 list. My first top 5 list was?
Who?
1, Chuck Norris and Walker Texas Rangers. 2, Chuck Norris and Chuck Norris is basically the top 5. No, but anyways, no, I'm not actually. Chuck Norris is number 1. Then Arnold and Sylvester and Harrison Ford and Bruce Willis.
Okay, so I'm looking here. So there were so many great Jean-Claude Van Damme ones, man. We got 1998 Bloodsport. We have Lionheart. We have Kickboxer. Black Eagle, Death Warrant. Yeah, for sure. He's my number 1.
Remember back when I said 10 years ago or so, when then Jean-Claude Van Damme did this like the split commercial, him doing.
I probably remember it, but okay.
So Jean-Claude did some kind of split thing. And it was like he was doing splits and stuff. So then Chuck Norris had to one up him. So Chuck Norris put himself between 2 like jumbo jets with one leg and then holding like a pyramid of Marines on top of him. like in the shape of a Christmas tree.
What was it for? Food or?
I don't know what it was for, but it was like Chuck Norris. It was all fun. You know, it was all kind of fun
Right.
thing. But yeah,
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah.
So that's my. Who else did we have? So Chuck Norris, we differed on a little bit.
yeah.
Keanu Reeves didn't get in yours.
No,
John Claude didn't get in yours either.
no, he wouldn't have gotten top 10. I'm sorry, bro.
Not top 10?
I'm not a John
Okay.
Claude fan. I'm not really big on John Claude.
Yeah, so we're about 10 years different in age. That kind of shows
I might put him even with Steven Seagal
Okay.
on my list. I'm sorry. That's just.
Yeah.
But no, I'm biased toward Chuck Norris, man.
I'm trying to find what that was. Anyway, I can look it up later because I can't talk and do produce and all those things at the same time. So there we go. That's all I have today. I wanted to do my top 5.
You want to do the top 5 Bible action heroes too, right?
I didn't have my completed list. I apologize, but
Okay,
I have a rough list. Hit me with yours.
All right, not my.
I mean, I have a rough list.
Okay.
I know what my number 1 is, hands down.
Yeah.
But,
Oh yeah. Well, my number 5 was Samson.
Okay.
4 was Gideon.
Okay.
3
Like it so far.
3 was Abraham.
Okay. What were you thinking with him as an action hero?
Him when he went after and saved Lot and his family. You know, when he went to fight to save Lot
Okay.
and his family. Number 2 was David,
Okay.
and 1 being Jesus.
Yeah, I was going to make the rule you couldn't use Jesus because that's
okay.
kind of obvious. My number 1 is David. When I was thinking through my list, David, then I was trying to think of all those warriors that aren't like the prototypical names that we might use.
Yeah.
Definitely Elijah,
Yeah.
calling down fire,
Right.
wiping people out. I think Elijah was pretty bad to the bone.
Yeah, he's up there.
Type dude. Samson, I would definitely put up there. And there were some other those not as popular warriors in the Old Testament that were pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, Joshua. Joshua would be
Joshua.
been a good one. Yeah, Moses. You know, but yeah, that's the Old Testament and Bible's full of action heroes.
Yep, and amazing warriors. Check out too. I've had it with my boys, the Action Bible that they have, which is like a comic book.
Yeah,
definitely check that out if you have kids, grandkids, whatever kids ministry. The Action Bible is so good, and really depicts. You know, sometimes we get the cheesy warrior like David. You know, nice little flannelgraph or whatever those things are called, but Action Bible does a good job of.
I would imagine. I imagine if you say Old Testament, a lot of people, the first thing would come to their mind would be David. He's pretty high up there and recognizable Old Testament figures.
The big guy taking out the little guy. You know, he's got a great story. So there we go. What else you got?
All right. Well, here's a couple stories. You may be prepared to switch over to Linux here soon.
Okay.
A lot of big tech companies like Asus, Lenovo, computer manufacturers are starting to ditch Windows. Because right now, most time you go buy a computer from the store, it comes with Windows preloaded.
Mm-hmm. Like the Microsoft package.
Right. Yes. Okay.
Suite, Microsoft Suite kind of thing.
So now a lot of these are starting to come with Linux pre-installed. But you can still get Windows, but you'd have to pay like $100 extra to get it as a premium add-on.
Okay.
The issue the issue is basically Microsoft's fault because Microsoft was starting with Windows 11 required a TPM to be you had a TPM enable a compatible system in order to use it. Well, that left out like 70% of Windows 10 users didn't have the hardware. I mean, the hardware itself could actually run Windows 11, but the CPU didn't have the TPM module and stuff, so they couldn't use it. And then also they found out that they were like saving your screenshots. Like the thing would save your screenshots from time to time and call it a feature, but then now you can actually search it on a database. So now you get security and privacy concerns. Like say you can put your password in like that, and it takes a screenshot. Now it's unencrypted, and anybody that can see it can see. With Windows 12, that only 48% of people would actually be able to run the software because of Microsoft's stringent requirements, and also in addition the bloatware. Another issue is with the bloatware, like because software companies would pay Microsoft to have it pre-installed with Windows.
Okay.
And the problem is when it's like say they do that, and like they say Dell gets it, and then when the consumer has a problem, they don't go to Microsoft. They have to go to Dell. So now Dell has to pay to basically support the stuff that Microsoft forced them to put on it. So it's costing them a lot of money. So basically, say you buy a laptop for $400, the company may make like $130 off that laptop. The rest of it's like Microsoft and other crap, and then they also have to do the customer support, which eats into their profit. So they're like, you know what, we're done with this. We'll just put Linux on there because they don't have to do that. They don't get the bloatware with Linux as they do with the Windows. So yeah, a lot of users also that can't run Windows are going over to Linux as well because of these security issues, other issues that's plaguing Microsoft operating systems now.
Interesting. The only thing I can speak to that is I did try using all of Apple's. I'm a Mac guy, so I tried using Keynote. I tried using Pages and stuff like that for a little bit, which I like, but then just by nature I veered back into PowerPoint, Microsoft Word, etc., those kind of things.
Well, see the thing is about Linux is Linux has been around for about 30 something years. I mean, it's an old operating system. It's an aged operating system. It used to be like for the realm of geeks and like really high tech, but you like all your top 500 Fortune 500 companies run Linux on the servers. Chances are you're connected to a Linux server right now on the internet.
Yeah.
So I mean, they all run Linux, and so but obviously your gamers didn't go Linux obviously because if you want to play games you had to go Windows. But now like with Steam, like a lot of games are on Steam, and now Steam is running basically a layer. Basically on so you can download Steam on your Linux box and play all your games because basically it has a software layer that emulates Windows, so it runs all in the background. So you just click on a game, it plays like you do if you use on Windows. There's an application called Wine, which allows you to basically install your Windows applications on a Linux machine. It's kind of, it takes a little learning curve to do it because I tried it and sometimes it installs, but sometimes I'm still learning it myself. But there's ways to run Windows applications on a Linux box. So basically, like, hey, and a lot of these people like finding their games actually run faster on Linux running through Steam than they did on Windows.
Interesting. Well, the only computer thing I might do later on this year is get an upgraded laptop. Apple just came out with the Apple Neo, which is a $600 laptop, which is compatible with the Apple Air, MacBook Air, and it basically just uses the cell phone chip, which is like use the chip that they're putting in the iPhones, etc. And so you can still edit. You can't do premium editing, which I do light editing.
So
you can pretty much, you're not going to do high-end gaming, which I don't do high-end gaming, but you can still edit in 4K and some other kind of things. So it might be something I might.
Interesting. Yeah, I saw the ads for it.
If I get two things. If I get a new computer, I'll get a Mac Mini for my desktop, stationary type stuff, and the Mac Neos now look really good. And so they're saying they can produce these now, the Mac Neo. You're getting the same. So think of your most expensive MacBook Pro. It's the same keyboard. It's the same mouse. It's the same hardware, but you're not going to get the premium. You're not going to do high-end editing, et cetera, kind of thing. But you can pretty much do a lot of stuff on there.
Right.
So it's going to change the game. They really think a lot's going to change the game.
I saw the apps.
Mac Neo. So
interesting. Yeah. So that's the computer news. The next one, I got the three mountain bike tech trends that will not go mainstream. This is from singletracks.com. So obviously with the mountain bike world, there's always stuff that's coming in, stuff coming up, and you always got your fads. I mean, you're a mountain biker, I like mountain bike, so we know there's fads that come into and then
got to make money, new products, more money.
Some fads stick, some fads come and go away.
Yes,
but there's three fads now that singletracks.com will believe that they will not go mainstream, and one that has already gone away. So the first is 32-inch tires.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I didn't even know that was a real thing. 32-inch, no way.
Yeah,
that's too big.
Yep, they're starting to play around with 32-inch wheels.
That's too big.
And I'm like,
29 feels big at times.
32 maybe might be practical, but for average guys, like
they'll have to create new trail systems for a 32-inch. You're gonna have to create like whole new trail systems just to accommodate that, right? You would think a single track, the super small single track, where you're having carved stuff downhill. No way, man. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, eventually you're gonna start turning into a clown show. You basically turn into a circus. Right. The penny farthing. Bring back the penny farthing.
32 is too big unless you're like a rapper that's trying to. The equivalent of rappers putting giant rims on their ride. That's what that would be. I don't think that'll take off.
Yeah, I think the 29s is pretty much their sweet spot. You know, they're not going to, I mean.
Yeah. I'm tempted my next bike to get a 27.5.
Oh, yeah, that's, yeah. I mean, I don't know
or
if
27 plus.
I don't know if they still make the, don't make that. That was kind of a hit. That hit big, and they don't hear about 27.5 as much anymore.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
Next one is inverted forks. Inverted forks. That used to be what you find at Walmart when the guy put the bike together wrong.
With suspension, suspension. Why am I struggling saying suspension right now? But okay.
Yeah. So inverted forks. I guess it changes the geometry. I mean, obviously, it would change the geometry when you invert your fork, but yeah, that's not gonna really take off. So next one is gearboxes.
Okay.
So basically, what gearboxes is basically all your gears is in the back wheel hub. So it basically puts all your shifting and everything in the back in the hub of your back wheel. So it basically eliminates a lot of the derailleur stuff. So you don't have a rear derailleur.
Okay.
It's all inside the hub of the rear tire.
Okay.
Adds weight.
Oh, and that's not going to happen then.
Yep, adds complexity.
It adds a lot of weight. Those pros are not going to be happy with that. So, why hasn't, I would say one thing with mountain biking, why hasn't a non-metal chain ever taken off?
They do have.
I've seen them, but no one that I know that's a legit mountain biker talks about it or
what happens when one snaps?
Becomes a thing.
You can't repair it on the trail if it snaps.
Right.
It's like a belt. Once it snaps, you can't repair it.
Oh, okay.
You have to carry a whole new belt. Like a chain, like if a chain snaps, you can fix it on the trail.
Okay.
I mean, the worst things you have to do is make a single speed. I've had one snap on. I've had one break on the trail. No, I not a chain, but I had a jockey wheel. So I was riding Lawrence, and the jockey wheel broke on my derailleur. So we basically made a single speed out of my bike, and I was able to ride it into town and get it fixed. I also had a chain bend on me, a link that actually bent and actually locked up in the front derailleur.
Yep.
I mean, technically, you could take it out, remove a couple links, put them back together, and just ride with a couple gears. So I mean, you can. So you can. There's it's easier to trust. And they're not that expensive, and they're easier to maintain. So
yeah,
I mean,
I've just seen any advertisement I've seen for it is more like gimmicky, non-legit type things, right? Or people saying like, "Oh no," because I'm like, if it's a legit thing, super pro mountain bikers are gonna. It's going to take over, and they're going to actually use it because they're the pros. They know the best gear to use, and I don't see like legit mountain bikers using anything besides
it's a
traditional metal chain.
It's a tried and true technology.
Yep.
I mean, and then next is electronic shifting.
Okay.
Now I've ridden a bike with electronic shifting. It's nice because it takes away, it eliminates a lot of the cables that you got going. You know, it eliminates 2 cables that you got going from the cockpit to the on the frame of the bike, but
can go out on you because it's powered or it's got to have.
But here's the thing:
charge it.
Yes, the thing you forget to charge it.
Yeah,
and then now you can't shift your bike.
Single speed.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's nice. I mean, but now like Kirk, we met Kirk last year. The electric mountain bike he had that I first rode back in 2022. It had electric shifting, and I tell you what, it was like click a button. It was. I mean, it was sharp. It was sharp snap. It was precise, but you got to remember to charge it.
Yeah. I'm still old school. I was talking to our good friend Jake Waters the other day. I was like, dude, Jake, you don't understand. Last year when I rode in Colorado with these other guys, first of all, they laughed at me because I had a rock hopper. Second of all, they laughed at me because I'm riding a hardtail and not a full suspension. Thirdly, they're mostly laughing at me because I didn't have an e-bike, I had an analog. I'm like, they looked at me like, pretty much, I'm a total loser. I'm riding an e-bike.
They were
looking at me like I'm a total loser.
They were waiting for you to put the top hat on when you got back to the trail.
Yeah, right.
Your spectacle, your one, what they call it, the little spectacles. You had one eye with the chain hanging on down.
There we go.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with you, bro. Hey, you know what? You're keeping it real, bro. You're keeping it real, man.
Because I was telling them about, what's it called when back in the day, what were those bikes called with no suspension?
Oh, rigids.
Rigids, yeah. I was telling them like, hey, I have a good rigid story. Anyway, I can tell it later off air, but yeah.
Oh, my buddy Tom, he rode a rigid. And I tell you what, he loved it. He loved his rigid. I think he might. I don't know. There's a certain personality that loves rigids. Just say that.
Yeah.
Now the only time now he was
Ridges
good.
or single speed, those are a
he
community
was
unto their own.
he was a good rider. He was a good rider though. But I tell you what, the only time I ever beat him on a ride, I beat him with a 46-pound. This thing was a beast, heavy beast, and we rode the Brand Trails, which is basically all rocky sandstone. I mean, all rocky, and I got through it. And I was waiting for him. And he's like, "Man, this ride was kicking his butt." It's like, I mean, it was like all the time he was riding, and he was wearing his arms out. It was tearing him up.
Wow. All right, let's finish it off with some spiritual talk here today. Like I said, I was stuck in top 5 action hero mode of all time. I need to go watch some movies now. It's inspiring me. I'm like, I need to go watch some good old school action movies.
Yeah. So, all right. I was talking about in Sunday school. I liked it to my Sunday school because I got it fresh in my mind. We were talking about Matthew 7:24 through 29, which is basically the two builders: the wise builder who built his house on the sand, on the rock, and the foolish builder who built his house on the sand. Let me go to the Bible here. We go to the Bible verses here. Where'd it go? Give me just a second, guys. I will read it to you here once I get to it.
I got it. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rains came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against the house. Yet it did not fall because it had its foundation on the rock. But everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on sand. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell with a great crash. When Jesus had finished saying these things, the crowds were amazed at his teaching because he taught as one who had authority and not as the teachers of the law.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. And I was listening to a YouTube video, sermon about this. And basically, it ties in with the previous couple parables where it says, I never knew you, and also the you'll know them by their fruits and the narrow way. So a lot of chapter 7. And there's one, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff you can glean from this, but we see there's some differences. Why the one builder being wise, the one builder being foolish, but we also see some similarities where it says the rain descended, the floods came, the winds blew. Happened to both the wise and the foolish, and then obviously. We know that parables are basically Jesus giving a spiritual principle with telling a story. And it was done for me. Obviously, we know it was done. It was a dual purpose. Obviously, it was to confuse the people who didn't want to listen to him. The Pharisees couldn't understand the parables, but the people who literally wanted to follow Jesus could also understand him. They could understand. So it's kind of interesting. Had a dual. It's kind of like they confused the Pharisees, but people who like the disciples could hunger and can actually understand it. So we know the rock is Jesus. So
yes.
So we know that the house is putting is your where you're putting your faith in. Where are you building your faith? That's the house. Where is your faith in Jesus, or is your faith in everything else? It's like the sermon guy was saying. He goes, basically Jesus was basically saying that there's only two ways. There's the true religion of Christianity, and then there's everything else. And he goes, you can talk about atheism, polytheism. He goes, doesn't matter what, you can just subdivide everything else. It all leads up to one thing, wrong. And Jesus, and he's like, and it's like, and at the end where it says Jesus, he astonished them because he spoke as one having authority, not as the scribe. So he wasn't speaking like the Pharisees or the scribe. He was speaking with one authority because he was basically like, I'm God. This is the words I say. This is my way or the highway. Yeah. Basically, if you put it in vernacular, in modern day vernacular terms, it's either my way or the highway. And it's like Jesus, like he was like, Jesus didn't speak to entertain. He said the fact that when he spoke, people wanted to kill him. I mean, you see that in the Bible where years back then he was speaking it was one with authority. And so basically it's like, he's saying, basically we're talking about where are you putting your faith? Are you a believer or are you somebody else? I mean, he's talking about the previous verse he's talking about, I never knew. He's talking about false people who are playing Christian, who really are not. He was basically saying, it's not, the reality is like we always ask, do you know Jesus? We have a lot of people ask, but the real question is, does Jesus know you?
Yep.
That's the real question. The real question isn't do I know Jesus?
Yeah.
The real question is, does Jesus know me? Mm-hmm. That's what he's talking about in the previous, where he says, "I never knew you." That the ultimate the effect, you're going to get into heaven not based on do you know Jesus. You're getting into heaven because Jesus knows you. Mm-hmm. If you really think about that, that really changes the whole dynamic. So we're talking about building. So build on the rock. So what is, we hear the words, we talk about the will, he also talked about the will of the Father. What's the will of the Father? The will of the Father is that all would come to faith in Jesus Christ and be saved. That's mm-hmm. God's will for everybody.
Yep.
And so if to do the will of the Father would be for me to come to Christ, because he's the only way, and go through him to come for salvation, eternal life. Mm-hmm. That's the will of God for everybody.
Yeah. Amen. When I think of that passage, I'm going to my personal life. I don't want to get outside of Scripture here, but I think about when you read that, or we read that just a moment ago, I'm thinking about the quality of our Christianity and what type of house we're building. Mm-hmm. So here for an example. So I just got done mowing this morning a little bit, and I don't want to say that because then I'll jinx myself, which I don't believe in either. But anyway, I was on the borderline of getting very frustrated this morning because I have a Craftsman weed whacker and blower. Now, They are junk, and I don't recommend them. Last year, I went through three different Craftsman weed whacker / trimmers.
Oh yeah,
I finally said this brand, this cheap weed whacker, I'm done. So I go to a place called Race Brothers, and I get a steel weed whacker.
Yeah,
and it changed my life because it starts every time. Mm-hmm. It never breaks down. It is faithful. It's consistent. A guy in my church ran it over and it still works.
Wow.
Blah, blah, blah. It's got a warranty if anything's wrong with it. So this morning, I had my Craftsman stuff with me. It's not starting. I'm trying for 10 minutes. I walk away. Then it starts up and it's but I'm thinking about, what type of house are we building on the rock?
Right.
Jesus is the rock. He is our salvation. We don't earn that. We don't, but then as we place our life on him, then there is part of our responsibility is to build a Christian life, a quality Christian life. And, in a house, if you use the cheapest products and the cheapest doors and it's not going to be a quality house, and it's not going to last over time. I'm thinking about the quality of my Christianity. I do get to play a role in that, the development of the house that I'm building on Christ. Right. And am I pursuing a life of excellence as a man of God? And am I developing myself as a quality Christian so that my Christianity will stand the test of time in this culture, in this society, and this time that God has placed me in human history.
Right. And so, because it says, he who hears his words and does them, and then it also says, he who does not do them. And I think, obviously we got to be really careful about, because we don't want to turn into, if I turn to a works-based salvation. It's not, Christianity is not a works-based salvation. Obviously, we know that. But I believe that works is a fruit that you've been saved.
Yeah.
It's not that I work to get saved. It's like I don't teach Sunday school just so I can come one day to say, God, look, I teach Sunday school for 15 years. You got to let me in. That's not how it works. Now, I teach Sunday school because I love Jesus and I want to serve him. I want to impart to others to be able to lead them to faith in Christ. And I do it because I love Jesus. My motivation is because Jesus saved me. Now I want to serve him. So that's a fruit of that is a fruit of me being saved. Yeah. So I think so. And so, but like I said, as Christians, like you said, we our goal is to strive, to work, to be further his kingdom. Our desire. And that's what I say. That's awesome, man. It's like I ask you, it's like, what is your desire? It's like we go back to have you been changed? It's like when I told him, I was like, there was a time when Greg was not saved. Mm-hmm. Greg's desires were horrible. Greg's desires were for sin. But when I got saved, God changed my desires. So now my desires changed from wanting to do everything that was bad and sinful and to have no problem doing them, to now my desires is I want to serve Jesus. My desire is to serve Jesus. My desire is to do the best I can for Jesus. Am I perfect? No. I mean, none of us are perfect. I mean, we're still going to mess up. I mean, we all mess up. I mean, we know that. But our goal is to continue on. We might trip, but we get back up. We keep going down the road. And Christ walks with us. He helps us. He helps us along the way. So one of the things I love about Christianity so much is that Jesus saved me, but that I still need Jesus. Not just I didn't say, I need Jesus. You got saved. All right, put you back. I'll see you later, Jesus. I'll see you when. No, Jesus, like he's always there, like a brother, closer than a brother. That's what I appreciate. I appreciate Jesus is always there, closer than a brother.
Yeah,
because I need him every day of my life.
Yeah. Amen. Well, who is your top 5 action heroes of all time? Obviously, Jesus is top of every list. He is the list. But think about it.
And one last Chuck Norris joke before we go, bro.
Quick.
When Chuck Norris left the house after he turned 18, what happened?
I don't know.
He gave the keys to his dad and told him he was the man of the house now.
Oh.